181 days. And we are, let me go on to Facebook and see if are we're on. Yep, it looks like it. Make sure that the sound is working. Okay, sorry for coming on so late again. It just can't be helped because what's going on right now in Richard's case is institutional um, document dumps, which is what we've been wanting. So we're not complaining. It's not a complaint, but that's what they call them, document dumps. And, just hundreds of pages from our open records requests, conversations between lawyers and the media and uh, the office of the governor, the department of, well, the DOD, everything, it's all coming in and we have to go through it. So, just a lot of work. And I will tell you this much. Bill Hicks is not looking good at all. Bill Hicks is the district attorney there in El Paso. Um, he has yet to call us, talk to us about our son, talk to us about the harassment and the threats that we have received through these many years. Um, he has left our son's case in pieces. Matter of fact, he has let it just sit there. And I think there's been a break in our son's investigation, just a cutoff, to do nothing. And what we received today from the Department of Defense was a confirmation that our son's case is still ongoing and that there's even some legal procedures going on. So we will let you know about that in the future. But I think that that is very, very important for everyone to know. Team Find Richard Halliday, that all your work, all your support is making a huge, huge difference because Richard's case is ongoing, because the Walmart case is still ongoing. Okay. The Walmart case and Richard's case are one case. You cannot separate the two cases. And the two people that El Paso Matters interviewed have targeted Richard's case to, to be up to no good. And why is Bob Moore of El Paso Matters, who we have put in an IRS complaint to, more than one complaint to, for his uh, using El Paso Matters as a political attack dog, right? A political attack machine, and interfering in our son's case because of that. And if it's a political attack machine, then it is connected, of course, to the Walmart case, because the more you look into the Walmart mass shooting, the more you realize that either you're in the Matrix or some kind of Twilight Zone, or this is a political attack. Okay, this was a political attack, um, and they didn't care about shooting people up, scaring the community, right? And then using the community's resources at uh, you know twisting things to get um, the community's resources is a huge possibility in all of this. I'm thinking when you scare, we've these lessons learned from COVID, right? These lessons lived from the COVID farce, and it is a farce, absolutely, where maybe somebody has something to sell and they create a farce and to scare people or to drive people into using their products and or forcing them to use their products as in the COVID situation, the mandates where they mandated people to use the products, and the products weren't tested, and the products have done harm that I'm hearing, and they've done harm in just dividing people and kicking people out of their jobs, especially in the military. So many of our service members lost their job. And now, they're short, and it's, uh, for what? For what? Right? So, and I think the hypnosis of the whole germ theory and everything is still going on, and it's a fraud. But also, there's other frauds too. There's other frauds, and I think that the Walmart mass shooting case intertwined with Richard's missing and murdered case. The we have confirmation that he was whistleblowing since 2019. 2019 he was whistleblowing, and they failed to inform us of this, even update us of this. And we know that because he put in child protective service complaints and many other calls. And that's all coming out in these documents. And that means that the district attorney should have looked into it, that there was an ongoing investigation. And then when Bill Hicks became the district attorney, it all stopped. Um, and there were problems before that also because John Briggs was accused by Loretta Lynn Hewitt, and she's not just nobody. She is a seasoned attorney, a seasoned capital case attorney, and capital punishment um, attorney. And she said that John Briggs was leaving the murder cases in pieces. And this is after Yvonne Rosales had fired him for the handling of a murder case that let a murderer go. And so this is, you know, uh, just sloppy work by John Briggs. And what happened? Bill Hicks brought him back in and reappointed him. And, that is very, very concerning because he even used him for a reference. The dirty laundry that we are receiving in the open records is stunning. It will stun you because it's like, how did he get that job? How did he get that job? This must have been a political favor, right? Hold up my chair. This had absolutely uh, was seems to be a political favor because when you look at the dirty laundry of Bill Hicks before he was appointed by Governor Abbott, you would say, wait a minute, nobody would pick him. Nobody would pick him. We have so many attorneys. There has to be an outstanding attorney out there to appoint as district attorney for El Paso, the border region, the borderland, right? And uh, and we got Bill Hicks, who absolutely has allowed the Walmart case to be in pieces and our son's case to be in pieces. And we'll see with the additional um, open records document dumps that we get, what's in there. We are as fast as we can reading through, and they're fascinating for us. They're absolutely fascinating. Um, because, those 700 pages, we're finished with that now. And, they are criminal on the part of the CID, on the part of the DOD. They're absolutely criminal. And they are third grade work. It is disgusting to see those 700 pages, thousands and thousands of dollars that were spent. If I'm tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars that were spent. I mean, it couldn't be that much because Veltri, who prides herself on being, like this great forensics expert and everything like that, never even visited the binational crime scene. Richard's case is an international case and it's a binational crime scene. And Veltri, this CID agent that was, because of the dirty agent Marlon Soto, having all the conflicts of interest, and Tavita Nusa, the CID agent that was having an affair with Richard's platoon leader's mother, leaking the files, and he lost his badge. When all of that just went haywire, um, the case was given over to Veltri. And, then she didn't even bother to visit the binational crime scene. And she seems to have committed some crimes. Uh, she really has, a witness had to plead the fifth, right? It seems like she doesn't know the law. She can't even identify crime because she herself was committing crime or watching and observing crime being committed. Um, so we're going to go through it more carefully, um, and make sure that this is absolutely the case, but that's what it seems like. And so it's sloppy work and also criminal. And so we will continue to go through all of this paperwork. And it is for Richard's case, but you know what? It's for more. It's for the El Pasoans. It's for every service member. It's for all of those victims, all those families that have contacted us that didn't know what to do. You know, their son or daughter was raped and murdered, and um, you know, the third grade work uh, was enough to cover it up, and because people are working their jobs, they trust. They have a trust in our DOD and our CID and our FBI. The FBI has now been proven to have multiple conflicts of interest, even with Nadal Baim. In this case, that he said he was FBI agent to the cashier and said that Richard's remains were found in Juarez, Mexico, by the FBI. And yeah, so we are doing all of this for those that were fed a narrative, third grade work, and had to accept it and go on to take care of the rest of their family and their jobs and everything like that. And so this has a multi-purpose, all the work that, we didn't intend for it to have to be like this. We just asked a simple question over and over again. Where is Richard? And what did we get was a smear. And we're like, we don't care if you like our son or not. Where is he? He's your soldier. We don't care if you like him. We don't care, if he was blowing the whistle on you, that if he was exposing your weapons trafficking. We don't care if you don't like him because he hurt your pocketbook. We don't care if you don't like him because he interrupted your pedophilia, your child trafficking. We don't care if you don't like him because he interrupted your whores and blow, your narcotics trafficking. Where's our son? That's what we want to know. Stop smearing him. Your what you think is good and right, we think is rotten. And so where is he? Where is he? And this was a question over and over again. And we got one irregularity after the other. One, I will call them like a twilight zone answer, a matrix answer, because they live in this very skewed, upside down reality where it's okay to have a military base that has breaches and security everywhere. That you can have a 14-year-old girl living in the barracks being pimped out, prostituted out, and then that girl is the stepdaughter of a guard, under the control, under the employment of the Directorate of Emergency Services. Well, that's not okay for us, and it wasn't okay for Richard. It's not okay. And, they live in a world where, 11, 12 service members can go into the field, do a field exercise, but have a party out there and drink grog out of a sealet that has antifreeze in it, and get deathly ill, close to death. So many of them. And let me tell you, when you get poisoned by antifreeze because you think you're drinking some kind of grog, some kind of really strong mixed alcohol, and then all of a sudden it tears into your esophagus and your gut where it almost kills you. You don't recover from that very easily. Well, we don't think that's okay to do that with our soldiers. That we spend our hard-working money to pay taxes. Well, some of us pay taxes. It seems like some people don't want to pay taxes because they're doing so many wrongdoings. They rather take the chance of not reporting and not paying their taxes. The very people that are supposed to be law-abiding. And we ask that question. Where's our son? And they were up to no good on Fort Bliss. They were up to no good. And amongst these lawyers playing all kinds of political games. And they're up to no good in the media. El Paso Matters, that has a tax exempt status, and that is supposed to be an oversight of our community. And yet it seems that they think it's okay to play politics to violate their tax exempt status, violate it, and get away with it, and interview people that are unreliable sources that target a missing soldier's investigation and obstruct justice in it and harm key witnesses. Now, that is despicable behavior by Bob Moore of El Paso Matters. And we're not the first case, because he's been messing with the removal, the unjust, absolutely unjust removal of Yvonne Rosales. And the more you look into it, and we're getting the open records, and it is showing the tampering. It is showing the vitriol. And I think we've the regular person out there that's trying to have a decent life with a decent family, with a decent marriage, that is hard work to get through and working hard in their job to be a success. I think we're sick and tired of these games of vitriol that are turning our institutions and the privileges that we give in this country, like tax exempt status for neutrality, um, full of vitriol, full of political games, full of fraud, waste, and abuse. And I would even say criminal activity when it comes to embezzling and taking pay for play and um, pocketing proceeds from the human trafficking, from the weapons smuggling, from the um, narcotics trafficking, and more and more. Because where is the oversight? Where is so many media there where they don't even dare to cover Richard's case out of fear and out of guilt? It's my opinion. Or just out of vitriol because Richard dared to call them out. It's like Glendon Oakley Jr. Richard's not the only one. It's like what they tried to do to Vanessa Guillen. Vanessa Guillen is a success to a certain point because when she first went missing, they tried to smear her too. They absolutely tried their MO on her. But God had another plan. And and her remains were found. And it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And that same month, Richard was murdered. And that's just after a couple months of Glendon Oakley Jr. being found dead in his barracks. And just weeks after Austin Hawke was viciously murdered in the barracks at Fort Stewart. Now I think it has a new name, Fort Liberty, I think, or Fort. Oh, they all have new names now, but because they had to change the names to confuse us, right? To confuse us, to stop the talk, to stop the understanding. Because if we start understanding that our military has been weaponized against us, that our Department of Justice has been weaponized against us, that our FBI has been weaponized against us, that the El Paso FBI supervisory agent Nieto, Jesus Eddie Nieto Jr., had conflicts of interest because of his long tenure there. Long tenure. He was established. He had a real fun game going on there with all his conflicts of interest, which included Nadal Baim and Lalani Hart and Angela Kachurga. So, which is, the media. And so if you're wondering, for a long time, people would say, but wait a minute, what did they do about it? What did they do about it? What did they do about it? And we're like, I don't know. They're ignoring us. Now they're not ignoring us um, because enough morsels have come together that we have a big picture of what's going on. And absolutely, the El Paso FBI supervisory agent, Nieto, had a conflict of interest with Marlon Soto, dirty agent for the Fort Bliss CID, dirty agent Marlon Soto, and Tavita Nusa, who lost his badge and was put out of the military and was having an affair with Richard's platoon leader's mother. And, you know, so the dirty laundry is everywhere, and they think it's okay to carry on like that, but it's not, you see. And it's not me, it's the law. The law says it's not okay. And praise God that we still have the law. And somehow the message now has gotten up to Washington, and Washington is seemingly, because we're getting the institutional support undeniably with all of the open records requests starting to come in that we have been asking for years. We're still waiting for the Child Protective Service open records. Why can't we get that? Why can't we get that? Why can't we know? We already know through Belen Rocha that Richard was making complaints about her. And is she a mother? Yes. So what are the complaints? Let's have the records out, and we believe that as that information comes out, that it will lead to finding Richard. And I've been told with the bullying and the harassment and everything that we'd never find Richard. And we know that 3705 Bliss Avenue, 3905 Bliss Avenue, especially 3905 Bliss Avenue, seem to be very connected to William Beaumont Army Medical Center, part of Mortuary Affairs. At Mortuary Affairs, you saw the vitriol that came from Mortuary Affairs, are involved in this, and they could, easily with their connections and that dispose unjustly, dispose disrespectfully of a deceased person. And so that is really concerning to us, because at the end of the day, what we want is Richard. We have enough evidence because we have the Thomas Kane, who was a director of emergency services. We have his letter, which I'm going to post up again, because I believe it's very, very important for everyone to understand his power in all of this, because he had the responsibility of security on Fort Bliss. And they just thought it was okay to keep our military bases unsecured and to allow these drugs to come on and off, to allow these hookers to go on and off, to allow even to live on base. And when you're 14, that's child abuse, right? That's pedophilia. And they're, and with all our cameras now, with all of our phones, they take these videos, right? And if you take videos on a military base, they're worth more. And so they're taking these videos, and Thomas Kane is allowing it to happen. He's allowing it to happen because that's his responsibility, is the security of Fort Bliss. And we know that there are CCTV cameras missing. Um, and where is the generals clicking heels together to say what the hell is going on here on my military installation? But Sean Bernabé was not worried about that. He was worried about bullying us, smearing Richard, about that, he takes underage drinking seriously. Baloney. Baloney. You have an unsecured military base with a 14-year-old girl. Well, this was under Brigadier General Eisenhower. Being pimped out every night in the barracks, and you have barracks swathed with weapons. That happened with both of them. And you have the likes of Donna Martin, who received a third star for um, her crime. Absolutely criminal what she has done over the CID in Vanessa's case and Austin Hawk's case. Terrible leadership. I mean, the worst of the worst. And they promoted her to a third star, and guess where? To the IG. To the IG. And there's no wondering why our young sons and daughters do not want anything to do with the military, why the numbers are as low as they are. There's no wonder. With absolutely uh, ridiculous promotions like that, and putting Bill Hicks in as a DA in El Paso. I mean, doesn't the military have a little bit of a say who's going to be DA? You don't want to check and say, hey, no way, you're not going to appoint uh, him in there for this emergency DA slot. Look at his dirty laundry. Look at his dirty laundry. He can't even clean up his own uh, health, his own well-being. How is he going to have oversight over Fort Bliss and over El Paso and the borderland? No, that was a political thing, and there's conflicts of interest between Bill Hicks and Bob Moore. Okay, and it's bad. It's bad, and it's political. And so, Bob Moore can be political if he wants, but not on the taxpayer's dime. He can't go to the IRS and say, okay, I want the privilege of not paying taxes because I will stay neutral for the El Pasoans, but then betray that and lie and start being a political activist, start being a political attack machine, right? That's absolutely not okay. Not okay. And then, we've contacted him no less than 10 times. We've been saying that in many of our letters right now. And he's never covered Richard's story, never showed interest in contacting us to cover Richard's story. That's not neutral. That's not neutral. And this is a big case because it's still active. It's still active, and um it has exposed so much wrongdoing. And please God, let it expose some other cases that I have in mind that might be connected to all of this. And that's over and above the Walmart case, because we absolutely know that the Walmart case is intertwined with Richard's case. And I posted something up before I came on about an hour or so ago, and it was about Ernest Christopher Grant. He is a key witness in the Walmart case, but I think it's like the Matrix, right? I think it's like the Twilight Zone. And he was in the Walmart, um, no gun, okay, which is astounding. He was there with his mother. And why am I saying it's astounding? Because let me tell you, when you look into Ernest Christopher Grant, it's astounding. And he's covered everywhere that he was throwing soda bottles at the mass shooter. And we are told that we have to believe there's one lone mass shooter, and his name is Patrick Crucius. And so that means that Chris was throwing soda bottles at Patrick Crucius. And Patrick Crucius, during that time, had no mercy for his victims who were praying for mercy, and they were laying on the ground praying for mercy, and he would go up there and just shoot them. Okay, and Chris was throwing soda to divert his attention, and I don't know if one happened before the other or whatever. Um, you can read it in all the articles. There's so many articles about Chris Grant. And that is odd because there are so many other witnesses that witnessed more than one shooter. And there's not that many reports on what happened with Glendon Oakley Jr., which was huge. And with Chris Grant, he got hit by bullets, shot, and supposedly the shooter, Patrick Crucius, is supposed to be the shooter, was firing at him, right? And two of those bullets, so he's really shooting a lot of bullets, and two of those bullets hit Chris in the rib, went through, and he said it felt like a hand grenade going off when you pull the pin, exploding in his spine, in his back. Okay? That's what he said it felt like. And all right. Am I supposed to doubt him? Well, it's kind of like Leilani Hart. Leilani Hart said some of the most interesting allegations, right? Accusations. And she is known to be a convicted criminal, lying to police authorities. So anything she says has to be scrutinized. And I've said that over and over again. Why hasn't the FBI arrested her for her notarized criminal complaint affidavit that accuses her family of incest, raping a 7-year-old in her master bedroom, buying illegal weapons and threatening her with them, having child pornography, which is child torture, and on, and her questionable immigration status that's in that affidavit. Why haven't they done it? Because I know what she testified did not hold up to scrutiny. I don't have the ability to scrutinize her notarized. I did call the notary, and he confirmed that he notarized her affidavit on the 22nd of July, 2020, right at the time that Richard went missing. And so something was going on during that time, and she is not to be believed. But what is going on with the FBI that she's not arrested? And we know that Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia targeted our son's case also, and that she also has a criminal history and cannot be trusted. Absolutely cannot be trusted. You know, when someone has a criminal history, it's like Danae Katzen. The CID failed to alert us that Danae, when she came up to us and was misleading us and telling us falsehoods about other soldiers, um, about Richard, about other soldiers, that she had a criminal history. Now, that would have gone a long way, and that's why they try to smear these victims, because they know if they smear them, that they are hurting their credibility. And they absolutely did everything they could to set Richard up and to smear him, to destroy his credibility because he was a whistleblower. Because he was a whistleblower. And they did not protect him, and they haven't protected us as whistleblowers or the other whistleblower in our son's case. But going back to the Thomas Kane, the director of emergency services, the very person that is in charge of securing the military installation there in El Paso called Fort Bliss, when asked about our son's status, he said he was a good meal, quote, a good meal for the coyotes. He was a good meal for the coyotes. This is what someone at that level is saying. When Leilani Hart was asked, she said it was a code red. And she even wrote a paper on it. It was a code red. When Jaime Corona, who is DHS, he wrote a whole report on Richard. And that wasn't good news. And then, of course, you have Nadal Bayim, who walked into the Dollar General. And, of course, he has a conflict of interest with the FBI's supervisor, Agent Nieto. And Nadal comes in and he's got these contacts, right? His son-in-law is the lieutenant colonel there in the 32nd ADCOM, Richard's command, and he has a conflict of interest with Nieto. So he has connections. And he's saying, I'm FBI. I'm an FBI agent, and we have found Richard's remains. The FBI found Richard's remains in Mexico. And it's not good news. He's dead. Shh, shh. And it was supposed to be kept a secret. Why is that a secret? Why is that a secret? And we have him on video doing it. So that is, and then we have another. We have Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe admitting that he was at Christmas time looking for Richard's remains there on Fort Bliss, and that he was actively engaged in communications with the Department of State in Mexico to look for Richard's remains. And of course, we have the intelligence saying that partial remains were found at Red Rio Range. Yeah. So it is It's really concerning because none of this had to happen if they took their duty seriously and secured the military base and applied esprit de corps and the Medal of Honor ethos and trained our soldiers well, and that the appointment to district attorney would not be political, would go on merit, because right now, on merit, Bill Hicks is an F. He has so much dirty laundry. He is not prepared. He wasn't prepared, and I believe because of his dirty laundry, that's why he could not sign the anti-bribery statement. I think he had to clear up some things. I don't know. I don't know. But the Secretary of the State through Reyes Mata, open records reveal that the Secretary of the State called Bill Hicks on the 25th of January and said, "Hey, where's your anti-bribery statement? We don't have it yet." And here you are, here he is conducting his office. And clearly, the Texas Constitution says you cannot do one little thing until you sign the anti-bribery statement and your oath of office. You need to do that before you do one little thing in your official office. And Bill Hicks didn't even get that right. So all this dirty laundry and then snubbing the Texas Constitution on top of it. And, and then they bad talk Yvonne Rosales. She signed her to state her oath and the statement of anti-bribery at the same time, right? Isn't that what I'm to understand? She put that in at the same time? Isn't that what Jaime Esparza? Well, Jaime Esparza, he was there for so long. When did the anti-bribery statement come in? But they all know it. They all know it. And they've let us down and they've betrayed us. And it is really, really bad because they get millions of dollars. They get thousands of millions of dollars to do these cases so that they can have a nice wage and they can have a nice pension. They can have nice homes and they can have security and nice parking lots that are secured parking lots and all of that. And then they betray us. And then they're offended when we call them out. How dare you expose us? Yeah. And then we have to fear for our safety. People say, "Oh, you have to be careful when you're exposing them." Oh, really? Then I'm going to get hurt? Is that what you're saying? That I'm going to get hurt? Because they're supposed to be allowed to just walk all over us? Take our sons and daughters and do with them what they want and not be accountable? And I don't care if they don't like Richard or not. Where's Richard? I love him. I like him. I miss him. Are they so selfish they only care about themselves? That they don't even do their duty? So we really need the politics in this. We need you to share. We need you to write letters. We need you to make phone calls. And as we put up some memes, we're going to do some memes as we have started. And please share them. Please share them and explain them to people because we don't know how to get this case with the Walmart case across. But, when you have someone like Chris Grant, and I'm going to tell you this, He has such a long criminal record. That's why he was stopped by the Secret Service and the White House. He couldn't even get his award because he has like, I think over 40. I mean, uh, name it, and I think he has it on his list. He cannot be trusted. And he is saying, and he maintains, and he even gets a publisher, and he's a well-spoken person. He's no dummy. He knows what's going on. And I mean, sometimes I think, wow, when I'm reading through this stuff, is he like an FBI informant? Is he an undercover journalist? Because Chris Cuomo from CNN came to visit him in person, and then the person that saved him from his gunshot wounds is like the director of CBP, border director, or did I write it down? Let me see if I wrote it down. Who she is, because I think this is really important. Um, see who this is. Yes, port director of Customs and Border Protectors. Port director. Donna Sifford. Donna Sifford. And seems like she was canine. Seems like she was canine. I wonder if she knows Jesus Melendez. Huh? I wonder if she does. Um. Anyway, uh, I'm just saying something is going on. It seems like Ernest has a huge criminal record. Um, but yet he was covered over and over and over in the media, except for El Paso Matters. I just feel like I'm in Twilight Zone. Why didn't they cover him? Um, you know, it's it's really strange. And the El Paso police, why didn't they say he has a criminal record? Because what he was saying, uh, of course, I'm not disputing him getting shot or, that would be for investigators to, let everyone know about and everything clearly. He was in the hospital clearly, um, you know, but what was very concerning about him is he was witnessing about Patrick Crucius and the actions happening, very despicable actions happening there in the Walmart. And, I don't know if that is to be trusted because the El Paso Police Department said it was not. And, when you look at Patrick Crucius, when he surrendered himself, he was clean. I don't even think I saw any blood on him, not even on his shoes. And surely I didn't see any splashes of Coke from Coke bottles being thrown at him. So I think that Bill Hicks has left that in pieces. This has been going on for so long. And I think that the people of El Paso and, of course, our family, Team Fine Richard Halliday, has been misled, absolutely misled. And how are these two cases connected? They're connected through the 3905 Bliss Avenue. They're connected through the targeting of us through Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia. And through Tanya Katzen, Danae Katzen, the Rochas, all of these people, it's all connected. So, and I'm just thinking it was just one big, very violent, um, big violent crime, and they're not really telling us the truth about what happened. Clearly, clearly they're not. And they're not telling us the truth about what happened to Richard. They give the same, narrative, and you're just supposed to say, "Oh, okay," and go off, and it never makes sense, and you can never heal properly. You never have closure properly, and and the whole family can't heal properly because you don't have the truth. You don't even have an attempt for the truth. And we're human. We're human. We have conscience. We have thoughts. And that the thought of the injustice for Richard is it's too much. Uh, you have to fight for the information. And what do I mean by that? You have to keep asking and keep asking and keep asking and keep asking. And then one day the politics gets right. See, and what's happening right now with Trump winning Iowa with huge numbers, 30%, and New Hampshire really with huge numbers because Democrats were allowed to vote in that, and he still won with these huge margins. I think that the politics is uh, you know, getting to be very, very friendly for justice, for oversight, because now we're starting to get um, the documents sent to us, and this is very, very important because we have the chance now to answer and answer we are to what is supposed to be the official narrative, the official record of Richard's investigation, which is the Walmart mass shooting. So thank you so much, everyone. God bless you. And thank you, Grace, for coming on. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing. What we need right now is people sharing, absolutely sharing the information, word of mouth or through the internet or however you want to do it. That's because I think that the El Pasoans are getting the wool pulled over their eyes and getting conned by millions from millions and millions of dollars, which they need for the botched up Walmart case. And it absolutely has so many holes and so many questions. And so, if we can figure out that case, we can figure out Richard's because they're the one and the same. So, thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye bye.